Hang on a minute. This isn't my office. Much better. Anyway, hello friends. Some comeback, eh? Ah, ha, 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 ha. Well, at this point in your miserable lives, you've probably learnt not to trust strange men that you meet on the internet. I suppose with all that university work I've been doing, while at university which I go to, unlike some people who may occasionally dress up in drag, that is not helping. Neither is that. Thank you. Anyway, I think I'm justified in saying that my neglect of this channel was at the very least work-related. I still haven't finished up with this bloody book, by the way. Even though Ali calls Arcadia sex on a page, that sex seems, at least to me, to be very well disguised as some beautiful ideas about our collective desperation to understand the world around us from the brief tinted glimpse of it we get before each of us dies. Or, as it's known to less imaginative people, science! This video could be categorised under thoughts of the philosophy of knowledge, epistemology if you will, but I'm really not sure to be honest. Some people could call it a ramble. I'm just going to read out my extract. Decide for yourself. It's a pupil-teacher exchange between Ernest Thomasina and laconic Septimus. But instead, Cleopatra made carnal embrace with the enemy who burned down the great Library of Alexandria without so much a fine for all that is overdue. Oh, Septimus, can you bear it? All the lost plays of the Athenians, 200 at least, by Aeschylus, Sophocles, Euripides, thousands of poems, Aristotle's own library. How can we sleep for grief? By counting our stock. 7 plays from Aeschylus, 7 from Sophocles, 19 from Euripides, my lady. You should know more grief for the rest than for a buckle lost from your first shoe, or for your lesson book, which will be lost when you're old. We shed as we pick up, like travellers who must carry everything in their arms, and what we let fall will be picked up by those left behind. The procession is very long, and life is very short. We die in the march. But there is nothing outside the march, so nothing can be lost to it. The missing plays of Sophocles will turn up again, piece by piece, or be written again in another language. Ancient cures for diseases will reveal themselves once more. Mathematical discoveries, glimpsed and lost to view, will have their time again. You do not suppose, my lady, that if all of Archimedes had been hiding in that great Library of Alexandria, we would be at a loss for a corkscrew. I want to give you some context here. In the 13th century, an unnamed monk took a piece of used manuscript, scraped off the ink, and used it to make a prayer book. He did not completely erase what was on there beforehand, though. From 1998 to 2008, this prayer book was analysed, closely x-rayed among other things, and what people found under the 13th century text was the only known copy of a work by Archimedes laying the foundation blocks for calculus, hundreds of years before Leibniz and Newton were arguing about who invented it first. It was a mathematical discovery that Archimedes glimpsed, and then the world lost, but then it had its time again through Newton and Leibniz. Of course, another example of a mathematical theory glimpsed and lost to view is Fermat's last theorem. Can you tell that there are just a few things that I like to talk about? Andrew Wiles's proof of Fermat relied so much on 20th century maths that it's impossible that Fermat could have proved it that way himself. So mathematicians are in 2 camps. On one side are the Romantics, who think that Fermat did find a more elegant 17th century proof of his last theorem that didn't dirty its shoes with all the modern modular form nonsense that Wiles used. On the other side are the pessimists, who thought that either Fermat thought he'd found a proof, but it turned out it was an incorrect one, just like incorrect Fermat proofs by Euler and Lamé after him, or that in writing the proof tease in the margin, he was taking the piss, and he never thought he had a correct proof in the first place. We will never know. If he did have a nice proof, maybe it'll have its time again one day. Or maybe Fermat was singularly brilliant, or singularly lucky in finding a nice proof, and nobody will ever find it again, at least before the heat death of the universe. To be honest, I'm not sure if I agree with Septimus Hodge or not. For all I know, the great Library of Alexandria could be reconstructed in other language 1,000,000 times over before all of the stars go out and the universe dies. Or we might have wasted our only chance and humanity will never see any of those works ever again. After all, if you give 1,000,000 monkeys 1,000,000 typewriters, they still probably won't write the complete works of Shakespeare before the sun expands and kills them all. That all sounds very dire and pessimistic, but sometimes the pure bloody randomness of history can work in our favour as well. For example, by chance, Arabic scholars found, copied and preserved the works of Aristotle while the Western world was busy losing them, and when Constantinople was sacked in 1453, we got them back! Go the West! Yeah! There are too many examples of people making stupidly lucky scientific discoveries. Take Fleming's dirty petri dishes leading to the discovery of penicillin, or Kekulé's weird sneaky dreams leading to a correct model for benzene, or Campbell and Roberts' heart medications accidentally giving people erections to the invention of Viagra. So maybe Septimus is right after all. If any of us have trouble sleeping at night for grief, we can try counting our stock of all the knowledge that we haven't lost to history yet. If that doesn't work, I don't know, try counting sheep? My name is Tom, and this has been an episode of the Boffnet.